Have you ever tried capturing a perfect photo at night and it just didn't look right? Either it was too dark, too blurry, or just lacked the punch you expected? Well, Huawei might have found the answer with its brand new Pura 80 series. Huawei has just dropped a fresh teaser for the Pura 80, and this one is all about the main camera and video recording tricks. The teaser is only 39 seconds long, but it's enough to get people talking. And guess what? The phone is officially launching today, June 11th. Now, let's break down what this short teaser tells us. The first thing you notice is how the Pura 80 camera handles color. It's not just about taking colorful pictures, it's about capturing every shade, from bright reds and blues to the darkest blacks and deep shadows. With just one tap, it promises a perfectly balanced photo, no matter how bright or dark the scene is. And that's not just a marketing line. Huawei says this phone can record vivid videos, and they really mean vivid. We're talking about richer colors, better contrast, and more detail in every frame. The teaser shows how the video recording changes when moving from a well-lit area into a darker one. But instead of losing clarity, the video actually gets clearer. It's almost like night mode turns on by itself, but without losing the real look of the scene. So how is Huawei doing this? They haven't shared all the details yet, but the teaser hints at some powerful camera hardware and smart image processing. Basically, the camera adjusts things like color range, sharpness, and saturation in real time, making everything look more alive and true to life, especially in tricky lighting conditions. The teaser also shows that the Pura 80 can handle scenes with both bright and dark areas, like shooting a person in front of a sunset or capturing a city skyline at night. Normally, phones struggle with this kind of contrast. Either the bright part looks fine and the dark part becomes a shadowy mess, or it's the other way around. But Huawei says the Pura 80 keeps both parts sharp and clear. Earlier leaks hinted at some serious videography upgrades in the Pura 80 series. This teaser sort of confirms that. The camera seems to balance exposure and detail better than before, which should mean smoother, more natural videos. But Huawei doesn't stop at just regular photo or video shooting. The teaser gives us a quick peek at other modes too, possibly macro photography and better slow motion. It's not confirmed yet, but based on Huawei's history with camera tech, this could be one of their best efforts so far. There's a mysterious line in the teaser that says, "Between light and darkness, the show begins." It's a pretty bold statement. But looking at how the camera handles lighting shifts, it could be a hint that the Pura 80 is really built to shine in all types of lighting. While the exact camera specs, like megapixels or sensor size, haven't been revealed yet, it's clear that Huawei is trying to bring high-end camera tech to everyday users. Is Samsung really playing it safe, or just falling behind? If you've been waiting for a big battery upgrade on the next Galaxy Ultra, you might want to lower your expectations. Because according to a very reliable source, the upcoming Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra will once again have, you guessed it, the same 5,000 mAh battery. Let's be honest, battery life is one of the biggest things we care about in a phone. It decides how long we can scroll, stream, take photos, or just get through the day without running to a charger. So you'd expect that phones would be getting better and better at this, right? Well, that's not what's happening with Samsung's top-tier phones. The Galaxy S26 Ultra, expected next year, is rumored to come with the same 5,000 mAh battery as last year. And even if Samsung does decide to bump it up slightly, the source says it'll still be under 5,400 mAh. Now let's talk about why this matters. Other companies, especially some Chinese brands like Xiaomi and Oppo, are now putting 7,000 mAh batteries into their phones. That's nearly 40% more power than what Samsung's Ultra model will offer. Even more interesting, they're using new dense battery technologies. These batteries don't take up more space, but they pack in more power. Meanwhile, Samsung seems to be moving at a much slower pace. Some people believe this is because of the Galaxy Note 7 incident from years ago, where phones were catching fire due to battery problems. Samsung has since been extra careful. And maybe that's a good thing. Safety first, right? But at the same time, the competition isn't waiting around. It's not just the Ultra model. The recently discussed Galaxy S25 Edge reportedly has a 3,900 mAh battery, and the upcoming Galaxy Z Fold 7 is expected to come with just 4,400 mAh. That's pretty low, especially for phones with big displays and high refresh rates. And let's not forget charging speeds. While phones from brands like Realme and OnePlus can charge up to 120 watts, Samsung is sticking with 45-watt wired charging, the same as before. That means it will take noticeably longer to fully charge your phone. So what's the strategy here? Why aren't Samsung, Apple, or even Google pushing harder on battery improvements? One big reason is market demand, especially in the United States. Chinese phone makers who offer these better batteries don't sell as many devices in the US, so brands like Samsung and Apple don't feel much pressure to match them. Instead of putting bigger batteries inside, Apple is reportedly working on software-based solutions to stretch battery life. One of these is expected to be called Apple Intelligence, which might come with the next iPhones. But at the end of the day, it's still not a real hardware upgrade. And speaking of Apple, there's talk of a new iPhone 17 Air that will focus on being slimmer. Have you ever seen a company leak its own products by accident? Well, that's exactly what just happened with Samsung. And no, it wasn't a hidden tweet or an accidental image. This time, Samsung confirmed the names of its upcoming foldable phones through its own app. Yup, Samsung kind of spoiled its own surprise. Let's break down what happened. For months now, people have been talking about Samsung's next foldable phones, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and the Galaxy Z Flip 7. We've seen leaks, heard rumors, and even some wild guesses, like a possible Ultra version of the Fold. But nothing was official. Until now. What gave it away? The answer is almost funny. The Samsung Internet Browser app. A beta version of this app showed up on the Galaxy Store recently. And if you read the app's description, it clearly mentions that it's made for the Fold 7 and Flip 7. That's right. Samsung just confirmed the names of the two new foldables inside its own app. This was first noticed by the people over at Galaxy Club, and yes, the listing was still live at the time they reported it. But there's a catch. You can't see this if you're using just any Samsung phone. You need to be running One UI 8, which is currently in beta and only available on the new Galaxy S25 phones. So, most people wouldn't have seen this unless they were part of the beta. But clearly, someone at Samsung didn't think curious users would go poking around in the Galaxy Store. Now, this leak does a few things. First, it confirms the official names, Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Galaxy Z Flip 7. These names were expected, but now we know they're real. Second, it pretty much shuts down the idea of a Fold Ultra. Some people believed Samsung might release a higher-end version of the Fold, possibly with more features, a bigger display, or even a better camera setup. But this leak makes it clear that the Fold 7 and Flip 7 are the main stars for now. That Ultra teaser Samsung dropped a while back, probably just clever marketing. Now, what can we expect at Samsung's next big event? If all the reports are right, Samsung is planning its summer Unpacked event for early July. There's no confirmed date yet, but it could happen in New York, like some of their past launch events. At that event, we'll likely see the Galaxy Z Fold 7, Z Flip 7, and maybe even a more affordable Galaxy Z Flip 7 FE, possibly a fan edition model. There's also talk about Samsung working on a Trifolding phone, something with 3 parts that fold out. That device might only launch in China and South Korea at first, though, and just for fun. Imagine if the actual Unpacked date ends up leaking through another Samsung app. Let's hope they're a bit more careful next time.